You too. We are back for another awesome and exciting and really beneficial episode of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play. And I'm excited about this for a couple of reasons. One, because I know Katherine personally. I've had the chance to work with her through my role at Troon and what she does with Troon Golf, Tim Mahoney. And we're going to talk about all that tonight. But I'm also excited because I joined a new gym, and yoga is obviously one of the classes that is offered at the new gym. But hot yoga, which is going to be the topic of one of the conversations, intrigues the heck out of me. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But before I try to figure out and talk about what yoga is and how it relates to you out there, because this is all about yoga for golfers, we've got Katherine Roberts with us, who is the founder and the brains behind Yoga for Golfers. Say that 5 times real fast. So, Katherine, welcome to the Wednesday Match Play, and tell me what the heck Yoga for Golfers is all about.
Well, thanks, Ricky. This is a blast. I've known you a long time, so it's really, really exciting that we finally got this going on. Yoga for Golfers is a methodology, a system, if you will, of how golfers can train specifically for the sport of golf. Not just the body, but also the mind. And we do a lot of integral mindset conditioning as part of what we do. So, if you think about the golf swing, it's a very, you have an explosive movement from a static position. Your body's working in all 3 planes of motion simultaneously. Literally every joint and muscle in your body is working in all of these 3 planes of motion. So it's really important to understand the biomechanics of the golf swing, and that's what we teach every day.
Well, that's awesome. And as a golfer and all the people at home watching in the golf community, this is a part of the game that we don't, I guess, maybe they do. I don't think about it as much. I mean, I have a stretching routine that I do before I play, and I can tell that when I start swinging, especially the older I get, when I start swinging the club, there are days where I'm like, wow, you should probably spend an hour stretching before you even start swinging the club to be able to get loose. And I'm not that old yet, so I can't imagine what it's going to be like when I'm much older. But so the idea of that is awesome, and I'm excited to learn more about it. And I'm curious where and when you decided to wake up and say, I'm going to do yoga for golfers versus yoga for, and we're going to talk about yoga for baseball, because I know that there's a tie to that, but versus football or tennis or soccer or what have you. So when and where did you just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to do yoga for golfers and start that trend?
No. Well, let me first start out by saying that I'm a golfer. I've been a golfer my whole life. And I think that's a really important distinction from maybe somebody that just woke up that all of a sudden they decided they wanted to do something that was for golf. I mean, I know what it's like to be on the course, to play. Golf is very much of the fabric of who I am. I was raised around golf. And so what happened was, I live here in Scottsdale, Arizona in the winters, and in the summers I live in Vancouver, British Columbia. And so here in Scottsdale, this was about 16 years ago, I was playing golf up at Desert Mountain, and I walked on as a single, obviously with a member, and one of the other women in our foursome was a 5 handicap, and at the time I was playing to about a 26, 27. She was a yoga teacher. Now, let's backtrack for a minute. 16, 17 years ago, yoga was not nearly as popular as it is now. There weren't yoga studios on every corner like there are now. So what happened to me personally was my handicap went from that 26 down to a 16 very, very quickly. And I thought, okay, now there's something to this. And that's how I first got into my first yoga class. Now, also, I've always been involved with fitness. I've played every sport known to man, and played competitive tennis actually as a junior. And so I was so smitten by yoga, I quit my corporate job. At this time, I was a district manager for the Southwest for a big Fortune 500 company. And I quit my corporate job and decided to teach yoga full time, which was crazy, right? So then I was teaching yoga at all of these different communities around Scottsdale, at Desert Mountain and Desert Highlands and the Boulders and all of these golf courses. And all of my clients were coming back to me and saying, you know what? I'm hitting the ball better. My back doesn't hurt. I'm more focused. I have more strength. I feel ready on the first tee. And I went, I'm going to do yoga for golfers. Now, again, back then, the only people really talking about golf fitness were, of course, Gary Player, obviously, Tiger Woods and David Duval. People talking about doing things to help your golf game from the physical fitness perspective was not mainstream the way that it is now. So it was quite controversial when I started this. And so that's really kind of been the evolution. And, you know, now we have certified teachers in 21 countries, and we have a global brand. And, you know, for me, the greatest benefit is when someone comes to me and gives me the feedback that I just mentioned, and I'm helping them, you know, stay in the game longer, play better, enjoy what they're passionate about, which for me too, I'm passionate about golf. So.
Wow, that is awesome. Well, it's really cool. And you're right. It is, you know, fitness has become kind of mainstream. And I'm really obsessed with that, especially with the fact that Troon has the Troon Fit initiative, which I know
Right.
that you're familiar with. And I'm just obsessed with weight loss. And I said earlier before we went live that I'm a craft beer junkie, and that's never going away. I had a meeting with a nutritionalist last week, and she's like, yeah, you're going to have to cut back to like maybe 1 or 2 beers every 6 weeks. And I was like, yeah, that's not possible to do 1 or 2 a day, let alone 1 or 2 in 6 weeks.
Yeah, right. You need to set yourself up for success, Ricky. Okay,
yeah,
that's
why I work out so hard, is to be able to drink the beers that I do. So one of the things at my gym, I just joined Lifetime, and in this gym, they have yoga classes, obviously, almost, if not, and you talk about the little pocket yoga studios and stuff. They have hot yoga, and that intrigues me because I love the sauna, and I have to assume it's a similar experience. So what is hot yoga, and how does it differ past the fact that it's just hot when you're doing it?
Hot yoga refers to the environment in the room. So depending on where you practice, the environment could be anywhere from 90 degrees up to 105 degrees. Certain studios even have separate humidity systems, so they can pump humidity into the room and raise the humidity level. So hot yoga, again, just refers to the environment and the space. Now there's many different, everyone knows about like Bikram yoga. So Bikram yoga is a series of 26 poses that are done consistently every single time you come into class. Where I teach yoga, we do offer hot yoga, and I do teach that, and we do part of a vinyasa class that is done in a hot room. So that kind of gives you the global perspective of what is hot yoga. For me personally, I really enjoy it because I like a really big sweat. And so I like that. But back to what golfers will be looking for. If we take a step back from looking at whether it's hot yoga or just general yoga, what's important, and then we'll go to yoga for golfers. What's important if they're going to a yoga studio, and I've been training yoga teachers for 16 years. I train teachers all over the world. What's important is that you find a teacher who understands the biomechanics of movement, of function, of anatomy, who has a very, very deep understanding of anatomy. And you find a teacher that understands teaching modifications, you know, finding your success. First and foremost, making sure that you're safe. So my teachers are trained to walk around and give adjustments. You know, here's a perfect scenario. Up at True North, where we hold yoga for golfers classes. In one session, I had a 35-year-old hyper-flexible woman next to a 71-year-old orthopedic surgeon wearing a back brace, okay? Because of my training, I'm able to make sure that both those wide scales, those wide ranges, experience success, safety. You know, one of the things that 71-year-old said to me was, he said, I love taking your classes because I never feel like there isn't anything I can't do. Yet the 35-year-old woman was challenged to build her strength. So for somebody out there that's looking for just kind of a general yoga class, those are some things that they want to look for. And, you know, with yoga for golfers, that's how our teachers are trained, to make sure that they offer modifications, they understand common golf injuries.
Very
There you
cool.
go.
Well, it's interesting just to hear just how it relates directly to golf. And I mean, from a back perspective, I mean, you even mentioned Tiger. I mean, he's had back problems for the last 10 years or more, and leg problems and knee problems. Like, I mean, I can imagine. I've only done it twice, and I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it with a little bit of caution that I don't want to get obsessed with it, because my personality is addictive, and then I will want to go do it all the time. And that's a good segue into the next question, because this episode, as all episodes of the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play, are presented by Eat Sleep Golf. And they had this question. They said, as someone who has never been involved in yoga, I must admit I am really intrigued with the wealth of video content on the Yoga for Golfers website. So make sure you go there and check that out, because it is a ton of great information.
Always changing.
Yeah, absolutely. How often do you suggest golfers engage in yoga per week, and how long should a typical session be? And that's a good question, because I don't know the answer to that at all.
It's a very good question. I think that it depends on what your objective is. So for example, first of all, I think that you can do yoga 6 days a week. You always need to have a day off. We were talking about this earlier. With all of my athletes, the regen day is equally, if not more important than the actual workout day. So we absolutely have to have a day off. The way that we develop the programs they're specific for the specific needs of the golfers. So for example, if you're going out to play golf and you need to create an explosive movement from a static position, which is exactly what the golf swing is, then you want to do movement that's more dynamic in nature. So that might be just like a 15-minute dynamic warm-up. If you're looking to build more strength and stamina, then you might want to work on more kind of standing poses that really help you use gravity against the ground to help build strength, which is what we call in the golf swing. It's gravity and ground reaction forces. That's what you need to do to strengthen and create power in the lower body. So it really kind of depends on the objective, but the global answer to that question is it can be done 6 days a week. I have a saying, which is adherence over duration is the most important thing. So when a client comes to me, first question I ask is, what is a realistic amount of time that you have to focus on this? If they tell me 2 hours every day, I'm going to say, I know you're lying because I do this every day and I don't have 2 hours a day to do it. So you have a greater value of doing 20 minutes of a yoga program 6 days a week than you do doing it 2 hours on a Sunday. I would actually say skip it if you're going to do 2 hours on a Sunday.
That's good advice. Good to know. I don't have 2 hours a day, but I got to find that 20 minutes a day. So how much does a typical yoga session cost? And can you go and buy just a single session? Kind of walk us through what the cost process is of somebody that says, hey, I want to start yoga. Where do I begin? And what's the investment from a financial perspective?
Again, I think it depends on what you're looking for. There's Groupons that pop up every 5 minutes for a yoga. It depends on what you're looking for. We have, for yoga for golfers, we have instant videos, immediate downloads that are $22 a download. And the typical download that we have is between 30 and 40 minutes. I don't make them any longer than that because frankly, I wouldn't do it. They're set up in different chapters. So you can do warm up, just the standing poses, or you can do more of a workout. But again, it's not really so much the cost because the cost varies dramatically. It's kind of like saying, how much should you really pay for a driver? It really depends on what you're looking for, what you want to accomplish, how invested you are in your, I would say from this perspective, not just your golf game, but your overall health and wellness. I just wanted to just tell you a little quick story. I had a client that came to me and he said, I'm really losing distance. It's the number one thing that I hear from people is I'm losing distance, my back hurts. I'm not having any more fun. I'm scrambling. I can't play the way that I used to, or I just want to get better. So what we did was with him, we worked on a lot of like shoulder hip disassociation because he was having a lot of trouble turning. So what he told me was, he said, not only am I turning better and hitting the ball further, he said, I can finally turn around to back the car out of the driveway, right? So there you go, Ricky.
Yeah. So
the question is, what is your health and wellness worth? If a Groupon is going to get you in and get you started, that's great. Something that's really specific to what you're looking for, like for golf, we don't offer Groupons. I think that what we offer is so specific and we have 16 years of research into this. So there you go. So basically with Yoga for Golfers, it's a $22 investment.
Very cool. So
yeah.
I know that you do yoga for golfers at True North. I've seen, and I don't know if I've seen you in photos, but I know that they do yoga on a tee box at the Prince Phil Mackay Golf Club in Kauai, Hawaii. Where are some of the coolest places that and actually a two-part question, because what are some of the coolest places and most memorable places you've practiced yoga? And what are some of the ones where you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that again?
Well, I think the two coolest places that come to mind is I taught yoga in Dubai, and that was really cool. But one of the coolest places was I taught yoga at a castle in Scotland. So I went out to Skibo Castle for a month and taught yoga for golfers there, and that was pretty cool. But I do have to say this too. For me, one of the coolest locations is on the back of the range at True North, which is where we hold classes, where I personally teach. And when the sun is setting and the mountains are in the distance and here comes a couple coyotes, you know, and you have the lights on the cactus, something on cactus. That's pretty darn cool.
I've hit balls back there when that's been happening, so I can agree. I've not practiced yoga back there yet, but that is a special place in this world. And
it's pretty cool. I also, you know, I love teaching in Tokyo too. Tokyo was great.
That the fact that you've been able to do it worldwide and you've got instructors all over the place is a true testament to not only the quality of instruction that you're able to provide, but to the importance of yoga and yoga for golfers, and that's just really cool. I knew that you were in several countries. I didn't realize there was that many, so I'm very impressed by that.
Thank you.
So what do you have to do to become a yoga instructor? So if somebody's sitting there and they've practiced yoga and they want to become an instructor, what's that process look like?
In the yoga community, the kind of foundational certification is a 200-hour training. And typically that's for people that are either interested in training or they just want to learn more about yoga. So some people just go through teacher training and they have no intention of teaching, they just want to learn. That's kind of the basic foundation. We have a certification program that's a level 1 and level 2 certification. We have golf professionals, medical professionals, fitness professionals, yoga teachers that go through our certification. Our certification is 8 days. So it can be either done online through home study. The next one we have coming up is in June in Vancouver. So we offer certification as well. But you know, the certifications vary dramatically. So again, it's kind of like looking for a golf pro, right? What's most important is finding someone that you really connect with, that you think understands you, that has your objective first and foremost, not necessarily what their objective is.
So you were recently named one of the most beautiful women in golf. That's got to be a really cool nod. So one, how did they tell you? And two, what has that done for you as an instructor and to be associated with such a high-end magazine, such as Golf Magazine, and just kind of talk through what that process was like for you.
Well, they contacted me back in last May, and said I was one of the 8 women selected for 2016. This is the 3rd year that Golf Magazine has done it. And it was, you know, it was a blast. We shot it at the Four Seasons up here at Troon. And, you know, it's cocktail dresses. And then I also, they do a video diary. So I got to talk about my business and my passion for what I do. Complete blast. It's crazy because the feature in Golf Magazine gets something like 16 million views. So it's been a lot of recognition, but I was really happy that I was able to talk about, you know, the golf aspect of it instead of like, wow, you look pretty hot in that dress.
That's a good way to look at it. That it's not, yeah. So it
was definitely fun.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. And you can actually go on the web, and whenever this gets shared around, I'll make sure to include that link too, because it's a really cool write-up that Golf Magazine did, and that is something that you should be proud of, and it's cool to be able to say that I know someone that's been a part of that list. So,
well, thank you.
We mentioned Troon, we mentioned Troon North. We've done all of this talk about golf and yoga for golfers. Tell me what your relationship is with Troon. I know the answer to this, but the people at home might not. And what your relationship is with Tim Mahoney, the Director of Instruction for Troon Worldwide.
Well, I've known Tim Mahoney for 15 years. We actually started out teaching together at the ESPN golf schools, which is actually how I first met Hank too. So Hank and Tim and I did a couple schools together. And Tim is an incredible instructor. You know, one of those people that we were talking about that really can pick out the small things and make big differences. It's just like finding a good yoga teacher, someone that can see the subtleties. Tim has that very, very good. And I just taught a golf school with him 2 weeks ago. So that's great. And then, you know, with Troon Golf, my relationship with Troon Golf is we have yoga for golfers teachers at different Troon Golf facilities around the country. Like we have a teacher at Kapalua, and it's up here in Scottsdale, and you know, some other locations, Isles out in Palm Desert. So yeah, and it's, you know, we are very very excited to be associated with the brand and to be a partner with you guys. So it's great. Yeah.
That's awesome. So we've talked about becoming a yoga instructor, the 200 hours of education and so forth. But Eat Sleep Golf wants to know what it means to become an instructor for for you. What are you looking for when you're looking for yoga for golfer instructors, whether it's here in the U.S., in your own backyard in Scottsdale, or somebody that's in another country on the other side of the planet?
What I'm really looking for is someone who is interested in helping other people, someone that's passionate about what they're doing. They don't have to be a yoga instructor. I mean, frankly, some of my best teachers that are out there are the golf professionals that are out there as certified yoga for golfers instructors. Somebody that's also really understands that this is a way that they can create a point of differentiation there and bring a whole new set of eyes to their teaching. You know, someone that's interested in learning. That's the part that's most important to me. And to have them out there, you know, representing our brand because they're listed on our website. We have, you know, 4,000 people a month that come to the website looking for local instructors. So, you know, to be part of the brand and to be coachable and excited to help other people, that's the type of person. That's, for me, that's the single most qualification.
Very cool. So before we get into the other sport that I know that you do yoga with, I'm curious, you have a ton of partners and listed on your website, and I'm just curious where that conversation starts, how another brand gets alignment with yours. Are you looking for them? Are they looking for you? So just walk me through what it means and what it takes to become a partner of Yoga for Golfers.
Essentially, what we're looking for are partners who have the same objective. You know, partners and companies that are interested in growing the game, player development, health and wellness of the golfer. Really those things. You know, people and companies whose ethics and are aligned with what we do. And we've been very blessed to have some very high-level partners. We're always looking to partner with people who share the same passion. Really, this is about having the passion, you know, meeting it with the purpose, being able to implement it in a way that's meaningful, that we can reach golfers all over the world. Those are our partners.
That's awesome. So we talked a little bit about it before we went live, and I know that you talked about your spring training schedule. So the question that I had was, what about other sports? But let's just put a focus on baseball. You do a lot of stuff with yoga for baseball as well. So I guess this is a two-part question. One, since you have yoga for golfers, do you foresee a yoga for baseball and or yoga for basketball, yoga for soccer? And then talk about your partnership with all of the different Major League Baseball teams that are out there, including, and Dan Attaway, this is for you, the Chicago Cubs.
Yes, well, I've been teaching yoga in Major League Baseball for 13 years. And I do have another company which is called Roberts Yoga for Baseball. It's robertsyogafforbaseball.com. We are launching certification for that, similar to the Yoga for Golfers certification. We've been doing work in Japan as well as in the US, which is pretty exciting. And we also do work with other sports. So we are, without me giving away too much and telling too much, we're getting ready to make a very, very big global splash with the whole concept of yoga for athletes. Really what we call it is peak performance yoga. So we are, stay tuned. There's some big things coming along. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah. And so I've been, you know, in my 13 years with baseball, I've been with the Padres, the Dodgers, the A's, the Cubs, the Brewers, the Rangers, and oh gosh, I'm missing someone. Okay, I'll think of it.
Notice Dan, you did not say the St. Louis Cardinals, Dan. I'm sorry. It's Cubs. That's awesome.
Well, it's funny because I actually got recruited into baseball out of golf.
Oh, that's
They wanted someone 13 years ago. The first team that I was with was the Padres, and I was with them for 9 years. And they wanted someone to come in that understood the biomechanics of rotational sports, someone that could teach to athletes, that could speak to it. You know, I just wanted to just kind of sidetrack. So not only am I a yoga teacher, but I also have what's called a fellow in applied functional science and chain reaction biomechanics. So with my athletes, whether it be a golfer or a baseball player or a basketball player or a football player, whatever it might be, I mean, I do a whole gait assessment on them. So it's more than just, oh, give me a down dog and we'll help you play better. It's a fully integrated approach, which also, we haven't touched on this yet, really ties into also the mental aspect of it. And I just want to tell you a little quick story, and I'll keep this picture anonymous. But I had a pitcher this year tell me that what he learned about breathing and the mindset conditioning in the past, like everything was speeding up too fast for him. But what I taught him about staying grounded and focused and taking a deep breath, that he now feels that he's in control of the pace of the game, which he never felt that he could do before. And he's actually pitching the best he's ever pitched in his life. I'm not taking credit for that. I'm just one small spoke in that huge wheel of performance that these guys all do. But that's also what we're bringing to the golfers. We're bringing golf, Golf Magazine did a poll a number of years ago, and they asked golfers, how much do golfers think that the mental part of the game is important? 87% of golfers said that they thought that the mental part of the game was the single most important part of the game. Then they said, how many of you would seek out a sports psychologist? Only 2% of those people said that they would. So through the process of yoga, we're teaching people these mental skill sets to help cultivate that mindset and that mental focus. So I sidetracked a little bit, but
that's okay. I like it. We only got a few minutes left, but we got to get ready for the lightning round. But before we get there, to be in your shoes, you've had to have a ton of certifications over the years. What are some of the bigger ones that the people at home might be aware of, and what are some that you're most happy and proud to have become certified in?
You're talking about me personally?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, me personally, I've been a certified yoga teacher for all of these years that I've been doing it. And I'm also certified in TPI. I'm certified in FMS. I'm educated in Postural Restoration Institute, both in a lot of their programs. I'm educated in that. The one piece that I'm also is with the Gray Institute. It's called, as I just mentioned, I have a fellow in applied functional science and chain reaction biomechanics, and because of that, that's a year-long program. Because of that, that has really kind of shifted my thinking. And I think, what I think is such a blessing for me is that the day that I feel that I know everything is the day I want to be done. Right? And so I never stop learning. I'm always looking to educate myself. I'm always learning from other people, from other experiences. So there you go.
That's really cool. So before we went live, we talked about this, and I have to apologize to the team at Eat Sleep Golf because I had to leave and come back due to some connectivity issues, and I didn't have my lower third on there. But Eat Sleep Golf, it's there now, so the plug is there, your logo is there, and I apologize. I'll make sure that doesn't happen next time. What I should do is create for guests. I should create meaning they, because they created that one. They should have custom ones each week. So Scott, if you're watching, let's think about that. So, all right, let's get into it. This is called the lightning round. It's 9, and I used to say
I've seen it. I've seen it, Ricky. I'm ready. Come on, bring it. Game on.
Here we go. Who is your number one biggest influence in yoga from day one?
My mother.
Ooh, good answer. I like that. And Mother's Day is coming up as well, so good timing for that. I totally forgot that it's this week. What'd you say?
My mother was doing yoga when we were kids.
That's awesome. Very cool. What is your favorite yoga pose? You mentioned the downward dog, and that's probably the only one I really know. So what's your favorite yoga pose?
My favorite yoga pose is a pose called Pinchamarasana. And that means where you balance on your forearms and you kick your legs up. So you're in like a handstand, but you're on your forearms. I can hold that one for about 4 minutes.
I could not do that ever. Okay, cool. How many different yoga mats do you own?
Trust me, I've never thought. How many different yoga mats? Well, I have about 25 yoga for baseball mats, and I have about 45 yoga for golfers mats.
Are they all the same? I mean, a mat's a mat, right?
No. Yoga mats are not all the same. I get my mats from a company called Cirrus, and they're fantastic mats. They're super long, great.
Okay, cool. So, and feel free to say True North, but it may not be your answer. What is your all-time favorite golf course that, not just that you've played, just in general, your favorite golf course?
True North.
Good answer. I'll make sure the team at True North sees this. So I have to assume I know.
No, really, True North.
Good answer. I have to assume that I know the answer to this, but yes or no, can you get hurt practicing yoga?
Absolutely. You can get hurt walking across the street too.
Hang on. I told you we weren't going to talk about me getting hurt walking across the street. So let's
Yeah, that's why you need to find a teacher that knows what they're doing, so you're safe.
absolutely. So what is your all-time favorite restaurant in Scottsdale? It has nothing to do with yoga whatsoever. Let's talk food real quick. Favorite restaurant?
I'll talk about food all day long. I love Pure Sushi and I love Local Bistro.
Local Bistro rocks. Have you been to True Food Kitchen? That's my current kick. Like, I'm obsessed with True Food.
Yeah, I love it there too, but I've eaten there so much. I need to go somewhere else. But Pure is my go-to, and Local Bistro.
Okay. I haven't been to Pure, so I guess I need to go check that out. So you're on Twitter, and I'm going to count these characters, but in 140 characters or less, tell me why I need yoga for golfers. Tweet me.
To play better, to play longer, to play stronger, to enjoy the game more, to continue to just love doing what you're doing. I guess just say play longer, play stronger, play better.
Okay, because that's 2 tweets. That's way more than 140 characters. So I knew that when we started that this wasn't going to be your area of expertise, but you are a golfer, so you may be able to have a legitimate answer to this question. And I'm going to ask this question until the day he retires. I mean, he's right above my head there. I'm his biggest fan. Yes or no, do you think Tiger breaks Jack's record? Why or why not?
Yes.
Ooh, we haven't heard that in a while. I'm glad I'm sitting down. That's yeah, you might just have become the best Wednesday match play to date. Carry on. Why do you say yes, he does? I love this.
Because he has determination and drive and a passion that is unstoppable. Now, can he do it? I'm not 100% sure. Will he come back? I can say yes to that.
I think he's prepping to become one of the best comeback stories in the history of sports. And what's funny to me is all these people talk about, oh, Tiger's done. He's never going to win again. And will he ever play in another tournament? He didn't forget how to play golf. He was hurt. He's getting better. He's rehabilitating to where he's okay to come back longer than he's ever done before, which he should have done the first time he was hurt. Somebody finally got into his ear and said, shut up. You're going to sit here until you're healthy. Into discussion, and he's doing that. And it's not like he woke up yesterday and he's like, man, how do I swing a club? He didn't forget how to play golf. So I love that answer.
Yeah.
And your final question, I'm so excited that you were able to come on and do this. That half an hour flew by. Your final question of your Wednesday match play is, what is next for Katherine Roberts and Yoga for Golfers?
Global domination.
Ooh, I love that. Global domination. Well, we're just going to leave it right there. Very cool. Well, I am excited because of this, and I was planning on it anyway, I think, but eventually I was going to. But because of our conversation tonight, I am going to sign up for a yoga class, and I'm going to make it a hot yoga class but I mean, nothing better than going into the sauna for 10 minutes, 15 minutes after a workout. So I think if I can do that while doing yoga, it might help also some gives me something different to try. And I'm excited to be able to learn so much about it and how it relates to golfers, to be able to share that with the members of the golf community and be able to share that with all those people watching at home. And I am really excited for your growth and the growth potential. And I look forward to, especially with the Troon relationship, the relationship with Tim Mahoney and all the things that you have working and your big news that's coming up. I'm excited to hear that. And I can't thank you enough for coming on this show. And I always have to, absolutely. And I always have to end, and we should maybe add a little caveat. So normally I say you have to eat, sleep, golf. Well, maybe I should say you have to eat, sleep, yoga.